let's talk to Ryan Williams about being on the cover and about going to year 2 to Alabama. All right, I have a confession to make. So before I came down here to talk to you, I was playing as Tennessee in Tuscaloosa in the rain.
Okay.
Now, they took one shot at you in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
I had you double covered. I tackled you in the end zone. They did not throw a flag.
Wow. And we were in Bryant-Denny?
In the rain, yes.
That's crazy.
I know. Well, here's what happened though.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And then they say, hey, okay, Ryan's downstairs. He's gonna come talk to you. Ty throws the ball immediately. I'm like, oh, of course, Ryan's gonna cook me right before.
Of course.
It's Isaiah Horton, but he scored.
He scored. Okay, yeah. That's perfect then. As long as the guys eating, did we win? Well, where we win?
You were gonna win.
Okay.
You were playing me, so you're gonna win. So yeah.
Well, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Because and it's not always about me. I'm glad. My guys they scored because we're gonna be doing a lot of that this year. Super excited for them. Yeah, as long as the guys eating, I'm happy.
Now, because you are on the cover and you have an association with the EA people, how much of your teammates said, "Can you get my ranking up?"
Bro, before I even came down here, that's what we were talking about. It was like just like try to tell me, like, you feel me, and like tell them to bump it up like 1 or 2 because I know they're gonna do me bad. I was like, bro, just put it on tape, and everything gonna work out. So it is what it is.
What you put on tape last year though, not many freshmen can pull off, and of course Jeremiah too, and you two wind up on the cover together. Like what do two guys who just dominated college football as freshmen talk about when they're on a cover shoot all day?
That's funny. Whenever we were in Pasadena, of course we talked about last season and him winning the national championship. I was super happy for him. But we both agreed that although last year was super fun, super great, and we both had a very good freshman season, we left a lot on the table, and we both agreed on that. And just with that experience from last season, like we're super excited on what's to come this season.
So you're going into the season on the cover. Everybody knows your name. What was your relationship to this game last year before you were the guy on the cover?
Before I came today, I was on EA. I was on cut last night till 1 a.m. So if that doesn't justify it, I mean, I don't know what does. So 25, I probably have the most hours played on the team.
Did you play it all as a kid, the old game?
Of course.
Okay, that's what
10, 11, 12. Because before that I was like still a fetus. So.
Oh yeah. No, my son is 15, so like he was 14 when the game came out, and he had no relationship to it before. And I just remember like 20 minutes in, he's texting his friends talking about how great the game was. When the game was coming back, what were the older people in your life saying about it?
Well, of course, my dad was in college whenever everything was going on. Then it was in 14, 13, all that time during that time. So he was just talking about, like, we talked about how he used to hold me as a baby and just play the game until 2 o'clock in the morning and just rock me. And he wasn't really studying me, but anyway, or he'll hand me a controller and he'll play the game like I would think I'm playing. So yeah, it's
so this is like father, like son, staying up till 1 a.m. playing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a lifestyle for sure.
Well, okay, since you play this much, you obviously don't play as Alabama all the time.
Cool.
You play as Alabama every time?
Of course.
Every time?
Every single time?
You don't have like a Sun Belt team or like a Mountain West team that you play as?
Okay, sometimes.
Okay.
I'll play as South Alabama because they're from the...
There you go. Yeah.
So I'll play as South.
Well, Kane Womack, your defensive coordinator, was a head coach there. Yeah. Major Applewhite used to work at Alabama. Yeah.
So I'll play as South. Well, most of the time, like here recently, I just been playing Ultimate Team. So.
Yeah. Who's your favorite player on Ultimate Team? Who's the one when you got him, you're like, oh, I got it now?
Well, whenever I first got my 97 card, that was like, yeah. But now, it's not me anymore. I'm going to be honest. Jeremiah's card, his 99 card is different. It's 99 speed, 99 acceleration, and I go 5 wide, and me and him in the slot, and we just run seams. If it's single high safety, it's straight abusing.
I'm glad you didn't play on the same team. That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
That would not be fair.
I do on cut, everybody that I'm playing against, they quit by the end of the first half.
So you're just waiting for them to rage quit?
Yeah.
What's the nastiest thing anybody's ever said to you?
Can't even repeat it. It's very bad. It's very bad.
Well, congratulations, good luck, and your 99 card's coming soon, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it. Thank you. It was awesome.
Pitching row back. I am wearing my performance hoodie right now. One of the most comfortable garments known to mankind. I'm telling you right now, go to rowback.com, RHOBACK.com. They got polos, Q-zips, shorts, joggers. They're all awesome. But this sucker, this performance hoodie, you got to buy at least 2, maybe more, because family members will steal them. My daughter has stolen 3 of mine. 3 of them. I will never get them back. She hides them in her closet, so I can't find them. So just remember when you do that, there will be thieves, because this stuff is so comfortable. You can wear it anywhere, and you just feel great when you're wearing it. Rowback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code Andy for 20% off your first purchase. Hoodies, polos, Q-zips, the shorts, great for the summer. The joggers are great in the summer too. They're lightweight, they're soft, buttery soft. I think Butterfeel is what they're going with. Rowback.com, RHOBACK.com, code Andy for 20% off. All right, Ryan Williams is like that all the time, by the way. He's not just turning that on for the cameras. Because sometimes you meet guys like this, and the interview starts and they're like, oh yeah, and then they start smiling and they're happy, and then as soon as the camera's off, it's like, hey, I gotta go. Ryan Williams was having so much fun at EA. He was like a kid in a candy store, and he really is that guy. And I heard him during another interview talking about the text message he got about being on the cover. And so he does the summary thing. Like, your phone can summarize your text messages. And so his phone summarizes
me out.
Yeah. Well, I can't do. I'm an old, so I don't do that, because I just want to read the whole thing. But he does the summary thing. And so it pops onto his screen and it says, it's from one of his agents, and it said, or from an agent, he said, because he doesn't, I don't think he actually has a player agent. So he said, but it was from an agent, and he says, it says something like EA 26 you want, or something like that. Something very brief. And he's singing, of course I want the video game. What are you talking about? And so he opens the full message and finds out EA would like to put you on the cover. Would you like to do that? And he's like, oh my God.
In what world is the answer to that question no?
Oh, Arch didn't want to be on the cover this time around, on the big cover with all the people, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know why you wouldn't want it, but hey, listen, it reminds me of, like, sometimes when we get, it's like, it was like our sponsorship with Panini when that was going on. For me, I was just like, yeah, do you want to be sponsored by Panini? Yeah, I do. Very much so. Who says no? Who loses in this scenario? But like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know if you get this sometimes. I feel this way a lot of times, like, heading into the NFL draft, but we are around athletes and coaches and people in a really advantageous life position regularly, right? But there are certain times where I'll be like watching an interview, like I did with the one that you did with Ryan, and I'll be like, God, what would it be like to be that guy? Like, young, handsome, charismatic guy, amazing football player, has the world on a string, and he just has his whole life ahead of him just to, like, enjoy all the fruits of his labor. And it just, like, he seems like a really good dude. I have met Jeremiah a few times personally. I've never met him personally, but he just, like, emits this, like, radiant, like, happy energy that, like, makes you want to root for him. And there's people like that. There's some people where it's like, oh, this guy's an asshole, or this guy's really, really cool. I mean, like Matthew Golden, for instance, we met him. It's like, it's really, really hard not to root for him. Ryan gives me that kind of feeling, and I'm, like, really happy for him as a human, because he deserves all the fruits of these labors too.
Well, and I think he strikes me as someone that people enjoy playing with, that they enjoy playing alongside, because he probably makes practices fun.
Oh, yeah.
Games fun. He was also talking in another interview about how many autographs he had to sign after classes. And so he would sit in the back and thought that was the way to minimize distractions and that sort of thing. He said he wound up having to sign more autographs when he sat in the back. So now he sits in the front of classes because people are afraid to sit in the front of classes with him. And
that's hilarious.
It's funny. funny to hear that. And he plans to graduate from Alabama. He said it's very important that he told his family he's going to do it. And we've seen a lot of athletes do that now, even if they only stay 3 years. So that's his plan, and like he's got it all mapped out. It's really fascinating. And we talked about Alabama last week. We talked about the quarterback decision they have to make, but Ryan Williams makes their quarterback decision much easier because whoever wins the job gets to throw to him, gets to throw to Jeremy Bernard. And all of a sudden, it becomes an easier transition to adjust to being the starter at Alabama. So I'm very excited to see what he does because he was so good as a freshman, but he was so young. And it's not like Jeremiah Smith where, Jeremiah Smith is a physical freak of nature where there just aren't people that look like him, that move like him at that size. Ryan Williams is a more standard sized receiver. He's just really freaking good.
Yeah, I think that we never talk about on the flip side of that, because you do mention that. We do mention a lot like, oh, how can Julian Sand not be good? He's throwing to Jeremiah Smith. But the funniest thing to me is that, like, almost the bar is higher to be good because what's your excuse? Like if you can't thrive with a target like that on your team, then maybe you're just not very good at football. And it would almost be like, in the tractor truck discussion, it's almost like you don't have to be the trailer. The truck, you could be the trailer and be just totally fine. But if you're having a hard time out there with a guy out that can turn a 5-yard gain into a touchdown any single time he touches the football, and you're still having a hard time getting first downs, and that's a really bad reflection on you as a quarterback. So like when you say it should be easier, yeah, in theory, you have a weapon out there. He opens up doors that aren't otherwise open for other quarterbacks, but you better be really good in that scenario or there's something wrong with your game too. So, whoever they pick at Ohio State, whoever they pick at Alabama, even to some extent at Auburn, players that at the receiver position that open the field up so well with quarterback stuff. It's just like, like Dante Moore has a lot at Oregon to prove with Evan Stewart out there. I don't think Evan Stewart gets lost in the discussion. He is a sensational player. I know he was kind of hit or miss at times in his past, but he's a guy who takes the ball over the top of the defense and really opens things up too. And it's just like you have all these first-year quarterbacks who are stepping in as starters for the first time that have all these proven assets at the receiver position. You better be good. There's a lot of pressure there too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it's Ty Simpson, you have Ryan Williams as your crutch right away. It's a great crutch to have. If it's Keelan Russell, same thing. You're a freshman, but hey, throw it to the guy that can't be covered. So very exciting to see that because like you and I have talked about, that class, 2024 class of wide receivers could go down as one of the best in history. And Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith have already shown so much that they're on the cover of the freaking video game as sophomores. You just mentioned Auburn, Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo at Texas, who was behind some really good receivers like Matthew Golden, who you just talked about. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Because it's a very quarterback heavy year, but I do think that it's like within the realm of possibility, or it's not crazy to think that 4 of 5 Heisman finalists could be receivers from the same class. Now, it's probably not going to happen because if Ryan Wingo's a Heisman worthy player, then it'll be Arch that goes.
His quarterbacks, are going to get a lot of that shine.
But I do feel like it's possible that 4 of the 10 best players in college football in November are the top 4 receivers from that class.
Well, we saw it with Devontae winning the Heisman, and I think people realized Devontae Smith was the best player in college football that year pretty early on. So Ryan Williams could be that guy at Alabama again. Like we've already seen it once at Alabama on a loaded national championship team, by the way.
How do we comp him? Do we comp him to Devontae in terms of playing style and explosiveness? Is that who we comp him to?
I think it's unfair to do that now because Devontae was so dominant his last year at Alabama.
But who does he look like when he's playing?
More like Devontae, a bigger version of Devontae.
Because Devontae doesn't get his shine at all.
Well, remember, Devontae was pretty good as a freshman, too. He caught the game-winning pass in the national title game as a freshman. But he wasn't as dominant as he was going to be. He developed over his career into a much more dominant weapon as the years went by.
I think that part of the problem with Devontae Smith too, and it'll probably be a same, type scenario for Ryan Williams, Andy, is that It's not something that's happening at Alabama that we haven't seen in the recent past. They've had so many elite level receivers come through there, like what Devontae Smith was doing. Maybe not. I think he was doing it better, but like Amari Cooper existed before him, and before him was Jerry Jeudy, and they had all these guys out there that
there were so many good receivers. There were so many good receivers at Alabama when Devontae was there that we were sleeping on him going into his Heisman season. Like, he had led the team in receiving yards the year before, and we were still sleeping on him going into that Heisman season because there was so, they had Jalen Waddle, they had Henry Ruggs, like they had so much. So, but you're right. It started with Julio Jones, and that just one after the other assembly line of Alabama receivers, but it actually had kind of, there was a pause. There really was a pause between that big group with Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams was kind of the last one for a minute, and then it comes back with Ryan Williams last year.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about, too, how many players from the receiver position in the pros at Alabama who are actually in positions to succeed. Like, I know a lot of people gave up on Jerry Jeudy, but let me tell you, as somebody who's a reluctant person who follows the Cleveland Browns closely, they're going to be counting a lot on him this year. It's not going to matter because they're going to win 3 games no matter who's receiver on that team, but he's their number one, I think. So Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Who am I forgetting? There's another one, right? Amari Cooper.
Well, Julio just retired.
Julio retired. Yeah. I mean, there's just like a lot of WR1s, right? Like, is that? And I just don't think that Devontae Smith gets the shine that he deserves in the NFL. He certainly got it in college. He won the Heisman. But like in the NFL specifically, I don't think that like he gets talked about in the same breath as like Justin Jefferson. And maybe he shouldn't. I don't know. Justin Jefferson's an alien. But like, it's just, I mean, he was a very consistent and explosive playmaker on a team that just won the Super Bowl. And like, if you think about the Eagles, who are the players that pop into your mind first? You get Jalen Hurts, of course. You get Saquon. I think Cooper DeJean is kind of a
AJ Brown
pops in your head. AJ Brown, like he's just like not somebody who
Jalen
like
Carter. I mean, they're loaded.
Yeah, they're
Lane Johnson.
Yeah, Keely Ringo.
Keely Ringo. That's right. Just name a Georgia defender.
Name a Georgia player. It's so funny to me though, because if you look at the Eagles, they are set up to be elite level, like Super Bowl contenders for the next 5 years because they're young and have a bunch of their players locked up long term. And like, I really do think that it's funny that they're like, yeah, do you see Georgia's defense? Let's just go get those. And it worked, and it will continue to work.
Well, and maybe they could do, you see Alabama's offense because Jalen Hurts spent 3 years at Alabama. Like, he's probably like, hey, these guys are pretty awesome. They know what they're doing. So,
yeah.
Devontae can say the same thing.
Jordan Davis is on the team too, isn't he?
Jordan Davis is on,
or was on the team. I don't know.
No, their defense is very Georgia heavy. Their offense is not. But yeah, it's pretty funny how that works.
If like Alabama's offense like averages 49 points a game this year, and then like Tampa Bay Buccaneers decide they're just going to draft everybody from Bama's offense. It worked in college. We're just going to run their offense back. Could you do that? What offense would you choose to do that for? That'd be a fun segment of like, if you could recreate the defense of a team in the NFL, like Georgia's defense from 2018 on would probably be the unit that you would choose from. What offense would you choose from?